Good morning, everybody. Now, I've got to say, I think this is the funnest show on Lenny's Fantasy Network. Good morning. This is Arnie and Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports. We've got a lot to go through today. Hey, what an exciting weekend. So we're going to start, as we usually do, taking a look at the standings. First of all, great job. Great job at 9, filling in for Lenny. I think I'm filling in for Lenny Wednesday and Thursday this week at 9. And so our Wednesday and Thursday shows will probably start at 9 and just roll into the 10 o'clock hour as well. So we'll have a lot of material as we get later in the week. This morning, the standings. The Yankees in the American League, 59-32, 6-game lead over Tampa. And guess who plays 4 games starting in New York today? Yes, it's the Yankees and the Rays. And this is a huge series for 2 reasons. First of all, should the Yankees come in and dominate and win, even sweep, then you can basically say the American League East was won in late July. Okay? If Tampa would come in and sweep the Yankees, then you've got a dogfight on your hands in the American League East. Look at the standings. 59-32 the Yankees. 55-40 are the Rays, 6 games out. They've both have won 6 of their last 10. Run differential. The Yankees are sitting at 118 plus. That's second in the American League, only to the Twins, who are at 121. The Rays are at 102. Now that's third in the American League. They have moved ahead in run differential over the Astros. And we'll talk about some more. You've got 5 teams in the American League with a run differential over 80. Over 80. And typically, the run differential is a good indicator of who makes the playoffs. If the season ended today, right now, your playoff teams in the American League would be the Yankees, the Twins, the Astros, the Rays, and the Swingin' A's. Yeah, how about that? You gotta love the Swingin' A's. They're locking down right now the second wild card. So Boston's 10 games out in the East. They just lost 2 out of 3 to LA at home. An extra inning affair last night. They hit the ball pretty well. David Price gave a great outing. Just the bullpen. Now, they are expecting Eovaldi to be available to return to the roster next week. Fantasy guys, take a look. Now, right now, Eovaldi is categorized as an SP. And I'm not sure, depending on what league you're in, when that classification might change to an RP. But if you're in a league where SP RPs are differentiated, Eovaldi, if he's able to do the job, could be a great asset going forward in that SP RP category. Now, Boston has got to get that bullpen straightened out. The problem is they're financially strapped under the cap, and there's not a lot of trading they can do. So Boston 10 games out as we look at it on July 15. We've only got 2.5 months to go in the season, so we're 3.5 months down. Tampa, Yankees this week. Boston, in the meantime, they're home to Toronto. There should be a lot of runs scored there. Sale and Price won't pitch in this Toronto series. Porcello pitches tonight. He has been horrible this year. Not even a shell of the pitcher that pitched in the World Series last year against the Dodgers. Toronto, they give up runs at record clips. So I look for Boston. I look for Toronto to score a lot of runs. Yankees and Tampa, probably not so much. You've got Snell, you've got Big Maple going today at Yankee Stadium. It ought to be a classic. Snell has not pitched well historically at Yankee Stadium, but it's a big game. Paxton, Snell, Yankees, Rays. Looking at the Central, Minnesota at 58-34. A 6.5 game lead over Cleveland. Minnesota wins 2 out of 3 over the series. From the Tribe, today Minnesota is off. They play the Mets tomorrow at home, interleague. Cleveland is home to Detroit Detroit is 29-59, 30 games under 500. The second worst record in the American League. Cleveland needs to continue to do what they've been doing. Now, you look at run differential. I told you the Twins had the best run differential in the American League, 121. Cleveland's only plus 22. So, Cleveland, they've been turning it around. And, they're 51-40. They're a half a game out of the wild card in the American League. And so, what has been clicking for the Tribe? Well, of course, we first think about their pitching. But from a hitting standpoint, I want us to talk about a few of their hitters. And, of course, first one, Carlos Santana. Santana is having an exceptional year back in Cleveland. He's doing something he's never really done before. And that is he's hitting for average. He's always been a great on-base percentage guy. Walks a lot. This year, his average is 294 on July 15. He's hit 21 homers, 54 RBIs. He's even thrown in 4 stolen bases. That's a bonus, right? Now, lately, he's not been hitting as well. He's only 3 for his last 18. That's a 167 average. He did homer yesterday against the Twins. He did homer on Friday against the Twins. So he's homered in 2 of his last 3 games. Provides a lot of power. And he is, in my opinion, a primary reason why the Cleveland Indians are making this second half surge. Now, let's don't go unnoticed Jose Ramirez, who, no one really knocks Jose any more than this podcaster. But he's got a consecutive game hit streak going on now. He's hitting 6 straight games. He's average, I know it's up to 222, but think about how long it was at 192 or 194. 8 home runs, 37 RBIs, 19 stolen bases, and this is the pattern, folks. Jose Ramirez, nothing last year the first couple months of the season. He got hot in July and August, cooled off in September. This year, nothing the first few months of the season. He got hot in July. August is TBD. And if he follows pattern, he's going to cool off in September. You know what I'm thinking? Fantasy owners, let him hit for about another week. Trade him for a first round value now. Let him hit for another week. Trade him for first round value. Could be one of the greatest trades you've made in fantasy. Now, Francisco Lindor, 287 average, 14 home runs, 32 RBIs. He's stolen 13 bases, 45 runs scored. And I saw on my email this morning, Topps has allowed him to endorse, and they have created his own line of baseball cards. I assume you buy a box, and there is nothing in the box but Frankie Lindor. How cool is that? But those 3 are the cornerstones for Cleveland. But it takes more than 3. Oscar Mercado, he's got to light it up again. He's fallen down lately. He's down to 275 with only 1 hit since July the 5th. Jake Bauers, not hitting over he's 1 for his last 10. He's got to pick it up. I tell you a player for them that's really been impressive this year, though, is their catcher, Roberto Perez. Hitting 257, 16 homers, 38 RBIs. A really good year for Perez. So, the hitting has been timely. Bauer, scheduled to pitch Thursday against the Tigers in Cleveland. He pitched on Saturday, went 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. Struck out 11. In his start prior to that on July 7th, right after the break, 7 innings, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts. So it looks like Bauer maybe coming alive. Are they going to trade him? There's so much discussion about what they're going to do with Bauer. Now, I did read this. I want to go over this with you. As far as trading Bauer, his value may be depressed by expected arbitration costs. Players with years of club control remaining typically have greater trade value than those that are going to be free agents, but that may not be the case with Trevor Bauer. According to Ken Rosenthal, I read a report on MLB, Bauer's value may be depressed by his remaining year of arbitration eligibility. Remember in 2014, David Price, he was with the Rays. The Rays traded him to the Tigers. Price at that time was in his second year of arbitration eligibility. He would agree to a 1-year, almost $20 million contract in January 15, avoiding arbitration. So there's a price to pay to avoid arbitration. Bauer has gone to arbitration with the Indians in each of the past 2 off seasons, and he has won. This is important. This is the digging deep about trades here. He's won. He earned $6.5 million, a little over $6.5 million in 2018, and $13 million this year. Bauer probably on the same track Price was on back in 2014. Price got $20 million. Bauer has another arbitration year coming up. Will he get $20 million? And a team that is going to want to take that on. And maybe that eliminates players like the Padres, who I thought was a perfect match for Trevor Bauer. But maybe not. You got to look at all these factors because it all plays in. It's not just a matter of, hey, he's having a good year, or hey, he's not having a good year. It's also financially based. Now, Cleveland not going to trade this kid, but have you checked out Shane Bieber and his last few starts? Well, if you haven't, let me give them to you. June 30th, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. Then he goes and wins the All-Star Game MVP. Then he comes back after the break on July the 6th. Right before the break, 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. After the break, yesterday, Minnesota. And it was a game that Cleveland really needed to win. And they did. Shane Bieber. 6 1/3, 3 earned, 1 walk, 9 Ks. Bieber seems to me to be becoming the ace of that staff. Kluber is projected to be back in late August. Do you hear where I'm going with this? Cleveland, I'm not counting them out of winning this division yet. Are you? I'm just not. So, we'll keep our eye on that situation. The White Sox are 14.5 out. It's interesting, you look at the run differentials in the Central Division, Minnesota plus 121, Cleveland plus 22, and then it drops off precipitously, negative 87 for Chicago, negative 88 for Kansas City, and here you go, negative 161 for Detroit, rivaling that of the Baltimore Orioles, who are at negative 187. Wow. In the American League West this morning, Houston, winners of 2 in a row. They beat Texas yesterday 12-4. And they just killed the ball over the weekend. Talk about some of their players in just a moment. But they win 12-4, and now they have a 6-game lead over Oakland. The A's have won 4 in a row. Swept the White Sox at home. And did you see the way the game ended yesterday? Runner on first, ground ball hit to the shortstop side, in the hole, throws to second, throws high, over the second baseman's head. The runner running to second just keeps on running, Kana. And if you know Oakland's ballpark, you know there is a tremendous area of foul ground